Just think positive. We've heard this before. What if I told you that phrases like just think positive or look on the bright side, it's not that bad, are actually have nothing to do with positive thinking and have everything to do with something called toxic positivity? I'm really excited to get into these topics over the next few weeks about what is a positive mindset. I've had a lot of people come to me asking exactly what a positive mindset looks like, how that works, and actually it's quite a big topic. There's many different ways that we can take a look at a positive mindset. And the purpose of this video is to get in and let you know what exactly a positive mindset is not. And we're going to start with something called toxic positivity. Before I get into that, let me introduce myself. My name's Coach Carissa, and I'm a fear coach specializing in mental and emotional health on the brain, specifically in the area of anxiety, depression, panic attacks, PTSD trauma. Now, I focus primarily in mindset and rewiring a person's mindset with better thoughts, habits, and emotions. And we've really been taught in mainstream society that the topics like the power of positive thinking or, the positive thinking movements, we've been taught that if we just think positive thoughts, that our life will get better. However, this has been misconstrued and can actually be more harmful to people's overall mental and emotional health. Let me tell you why. So when somebody comes to us, or when we go to somebody and we say something that might be perceived as slightly negative, but true, we might say something like, "Oh, I feel like I did horrible on that exam," or "I'm feeling really hurt right now over something that somebody did." Or we might say, "I feel like such a failure." And people often come back to us with certain responses like, "Look on the bright side." "Hey, think positive." Or, "Don't worry about it. Don't be so negative." And we use these different topics and we say these things to different people, and we even say them ourselves when people ask us, "Hey, how are you doing?" Instead of acknowledging how we might actually be feeling, we might say, "I'm fine." "Yeah, I'm great." Or if somebody's like, "Oh, that must have really bothered you about what so-and-so did," and we say, "No, honestly, I'm fine. It doesn't bother me at all." What happens here in both scenarios between the person who's talking and between whom we're talking to, we're using something called emotional invalidation. We're not validating the reality of our own emotions or our own emotional states as they are presently, and we're not validating the emotional states of somebody else as they are presently. And what happens when we do that, and maybe even you've said this stuff to other people, like, "Look on the bright side, just think positive," and maybe you even got that sense that they've kind of shut down a little bit after you said this. This is why, because it's emotionally invalidating. It's not honoring how they're feeling about something right now. It's okay to feel negative about something in the moment. This doesn't mean that we're not thinking positive. It just is a reality of how we're feeling, and we need to be able to really work through our emotional state so we can come to the truth of what those emotions are trying to tell us. So then we can either, A, understand ourselves better, and then B, choose the reactions and the thoughts and the habits that we want to choose, or the mindsets that we want to choose to get us to where we want to go. So when we emotionally invalidate somebody, we're basically saying, forget about how you're feeling and just think positive. We're telling them that it's not okay to feel bad and that the only good state to feel is these happy thoughts, which is completely illogical because people are not happy all the time. We go through different struggles, we hurt, and this is a big problem that I see in people struggling with depression, anxiety, and mental health. is we've gotten so used to pushing down these emotional realities and pushing down our negative emotions that they get stuck in our body. And then when we don't deal with these emotions, we're also not aware of the reality of our own selves or what we might need or how we're feeling. And as a result, these feelings get stuck in our body and they cycle around in our unconscious mind, causing us to react negatively to different things when they come up in the future. So toxic positivity is a big problem. I saw this a lot in the gym as well, where, in the gym, I might see it in the business place, especially in the coaching world. I see this all the time. It's that concept of push harder, work harder, push faster, be the best you can be. These things are great. However, often it's causing people to push past their own truths. Or maybe a person just might need to rest, and this mindset, they're like, I just got to push harder, is actually causing them to go into an area of imbalance or an area where it's actually more unhealthy for them because they're not feeding their soul, or they're not feeding their passion, or they're not feeding their creativity. We need rest. We need balance. We need all of these things. And this whole concept of push harder, work harder is another form of emotional invalidation because we're not validating ourselves in our need for rest. We're not validating ourselves in the reality that what are we pushing for? Are we pushing to reach somebody else's ideal of a great life, or are we pushing for our own ideals? So there's a lot of things that come into toxic positivity and emotional invalidation. This is what a positive mindset is not. Okay, a positive mindset is when we can actually acknowledge our emotional states as they are now and accept them without putting judgment on them, or without looking at those and thinking that somehow that's us. The reality is a lot of the emotions we experience, a lot of the thoughts we have aren't really us. A lot of them are from the environment, or they might have been triggers from old childhood memories. And in order for us to process, in order for us to gain awareness so we can actually shift into new behaviors, we need to be able to acknowledge the emotions and the patterns that are coming up for us now, instead of bulldozing over them with toxic positivity. So positive thinking, this is where it starts. It starts with acknowledging the reality of our emotions as they are now, and the reality of the emotional states of other people as they are now. And then once acknowledged, then choosing a better thought or a better emotional state or a better behavior or a better reaction that's going to get us to where we want to go. It does twofold. It allows us to release the old emotional states from our body. It allows us to access the information or the old belief systems from our unconscious mind and get to know our truth and ourselves that much better. There is so much knowledge and awareness in your emotions and in your thoughts. And the only way to get to know our thoughts is to pay attention to your emotions. So if there's one thing I can impart on you now, it's stop toxic positivity, stop telling people to just be positive, and instead start to acknowledge the emotional state of how someone's feeling. And then from there, start to focus on positive actions that we can take. This is what a positive mindset is all about. I'm excited to get into that and more over the next few weeks. If mindset is something that maybe you're in the very beginning stages of, it's a rabbit hole, guys. It takes years to understand and master on your own. If this is something that you want to master, get better at, maybe you're struggling with anxiety or depression and all these negative emotional feelings, this can be overcome quite quickly once you understand how things work and start to clear up the childhood trauma. So what I do is I'm an NLP matrix therapy coach. We take a deep dive into the unconscious mind to where certain beliefs were taken away, or when certain emotions came up that we might be re-triggering in the current moment. And we really work through that and clear it for good so that you're no longer reacting to these old triggers of your past. If that's something you're interested in, send me a DM. I give a sample clearing for everybody to try it out for the first time and show you how you can rewire your mind with better thoughts, habits, and emotions. You can also go to www.coachcarissa.com for more information. I ask that you like this video if it really helped you or if it gave you some insight, or if you enjoyed what you're watching, like this video now, share it, subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you again so much for watching, and remember, mindset matters.